I'll call to order the Borough Assembly meeting of August 20th, 2018. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Jeff?
Jeff is excused.
Mark?
Mark is excused.
Nancy?
Here, yes.
Eric?
Here.
Kurt?
Kurt is excused.
Dave?
Here.
Randy? Here. Thank you.
With that, let us all rise for the voluntary pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, what moves us on to approval of minutes, and I see none. Is this correct, Clerk Thompson?
It is correct. I apologize.
No worries, thank you. An amendment, approval of the meeting agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve or amend the agenda.
Move to approve. Second.
The motion has been made by Member Strand, seconded by Member Morrell. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Passes unanimously. There are no public hearings this evening, and there are no bid awards this evening, which brings us to visitors' views related to the agenda. It does not appear that there are visitors' views related to the agenda tonight. Pretty sparse in here for those listening at home. On the off chance, any visitors' views unrelated to the agenda? All right. Seeing none, there are no board, commission, or committee reports. There is nothing on the consent agenda. No report of other officers, unless any assembly members had something or departments had to pass on. Which brings us to the mayor's report. All right. Petersburg Borough is seeking letters of interest from qualified borough residents to serve on our community by filling one of two vacant seats on the Historic Preservation Commission. One for an assembly member representative with a term ending 12/31/19, one for an archaeologist or at-large member with a term ending 12/31/20. Letters of interest may be submitted to the Borough Clerk via mail to P.O. Box 329, Petersburg, AK 99833, via email to dthompson@petersburgak.gov, or by delivering to the Clerk's office at 12 South Nordic Drive. The Southeast Conference 2018 annual meeting. Mayor Jensen will be traveling to Ketchikan September 11th through the 15th to attend the annual meeting for Southeast Conference. Mayor has some concerns with agenda items. One, the Ocean Verde letter. Should we send a letter? If we do send a letter, it should be to thank them for their years of service in Petersburg. And two, entertainment. Mayor Jensen is concerned about liability issues and wondering if the borough has any control over what is filmed and or aired. And we will speak about that during the proper place on the agenda. On Friday, August 10th, Mayor Jensen met with U.S. Coast Guard Commandant Admiral Carl Schultz, 17th U.S. Coast Guard District Commander Rear Admiral Matthew Bell, Senator Lisa Murkowski, Alaska, and Senator Mike Enzi of Wyoming, came to town to view the U.S. Coast Guard facilities in Petersburg. The group also toured the Anacapa and the Elderberry and met with the ship's crews. The visit was short, but it gave the U.S. Coast Guard a good idea of what Petersburg has available for moorage and housing for the new ships, their staff, and their staff's families. They're also able to see how important the U.S. Coast Guard is to our community. And those of you who care to look at this online, you see photos either on KFSK or in the paper. There's some good photos of Mayor, Chief, and the senators and Coast Guard. And with that, I'll turn it over to the manager for the manager's report.
Thank you, sir. State licensing recertification is complete for the manor, and Sheilin has submitted the Medicaid provider recertification for the facility. Congratulations to Nori Stuber as our new resident assistant supervisor. Rig Brothers are working on the fabrication of the new steel superstructure for the City Creek Dam, which will support the dam gate operators. Wastewater staff is working on upgrades to the failed pump station at the baler and is chipping branches as they can to provide feedstock for the composting operation. We did have a planned outage to repair a broken cutout and burnt crossarm on August 10th and went really well. The crew was well prepared and completed the repair in 2 hours. Thanks to the public for your patience. Blind Slough Hydro Evaluation Project is ongoing. We expect to see a first draft of the conditions assessment by September. Our Crystal Lake water levels continue to drop with the dry weather. It looks like we've got some rain in the forecast. So far, we've been able to provide the hatchery with enough water for them to operate, but we do need more rain. We did finally get a land use permit from the university to allow cutting of a 50-foot power line buffer on their strip on their property. We have amended an existing contract with D&D Tree Service to include this work. The second tie maintenance shutdown of 2018 and corresponding diesel generation run at the power plant is tentatively scheduled for September 6th through the 9th. SEPA plans to inspect the Tyee Lake Power Tunnel with a submersible ROV and work on marker balls at Eagle River. The streets crew completed some drainage improvements and resurfacing work on Marion Street and Hogue Alley. They also repaired a failed moderate main near the top of Friend Street. We continue to look at options for the borough's recycling program and are gathering input from the public. So far, opinions received by Public Works have been mixed as to whether the program should continue. Anyone with ideas or questions on what the recycling program should look like in the future is encouraged to share their input with the Public Works Department. Chris is putting together some rehab replacement scenarios for the solid waste baler. These will be presented to the Assembly at a future meeting. Julie Anderson has assumed the role of acting facility supervisor at Parks and Rec, and she's doing a great job. Fall basketball is now open for registration. Practices start on September 10th. We are seeking motivated volunteers to help coach practices. If you're interested, please email Julie at janderson@petersburgak.gov. Age ranges are kindergarten and first. Practices are Monday night from 6 to 7. Second and third grade practices Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 and Saturdays 12 to 1:30. And grades 4 through 6 practices Tuesday and Thursday nights from 6 to 7 and Saturdays from 1:30 to 5. We have a 3-on-3 basketball tournament Saturday, August 18th from 4:30 to 8:30 p.m. Kids play 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. with adults starting at 5:30. Cost is the same as general entry fee. Sign-ups for teams are happening now. Search, in partnership with WAVE and Petersburg Parks and Rec, is offering a free 5K on Saturday, August 25th. The race will start at PIA and will end at the community center.
PFI. Oh, sorry.
No, they changed that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, I just thought you read it.
No, they changed it. It'll start at PIA near the Hammer and Wheeling grocery store, and will end at the community center using some of our trails as part of the 5K route. Free play in the gym with bounce castles for participants of the race will be from 10 to 12. Full facility schedule starting 27th of August. With the start of school, we are changing our schedule to the following. Lap swims are Monday through Friday, 6:15 to 8:30 a.m. and 12 to 1. Open swims are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday from 6 to 8. Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 3. Open gym is Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., Saturday 6 to 9, and Sunday 1 to 3. We are now hiring for lifeguard staff as well. Next lifeguard class will be 824 through 826. The class cost is free if you work for the borough for 6 months, or it is $135 otherwise. Continued training for all staff at Parks and Rec. We have the American Red Cross Aquatic Examiners coming to town in September to review, evaluate, and run a training for the staff. And they are working with Sandy and the fire department to schedule a facility-wide emergency drill on September 26th at 7 p.m. The lifeguards and fire department are working together to review what to do in emergency situations. Ryan, Sandy, and volunteers have been cleaning in and around the Scout Bay Fire Station, so thank them all for that. And Sandy she met with the Petersburg Medical Center CEO and emergency manager on the 13th of August and attended an emergency management meeting on Friday the 17th. We received notification that our Medicare revalidation process has been finalized, and we are now authorized to continue billing for ambulance services. So thanks to Sandy for her work on that. And that's it.
Any questions for the manager? Member Castro.
Yeah, actually, thank you. This question's for Sandy. I'm curious about the emergency management meeting you went to on the 17th. What was talked about and discussed?
We talked about doing some drills with the police department, the fire department, and the hospital. And Lori Miller is their emergency manager at the hospital, so she's developing a plan, and we had a meeting today, a walkthrough today. Officer Wachter with the police department, myself, Mike Boggs, and Lori Miller walked through the hospital today to kind of look at the layout to determine what to do for that drill. But it'll be a full-scale exercise.
Wow. Thank you.
Any other questions for the manager or anyone else? All right, seeing none, we will move on. Thank you, Mr. Manager. There is no unfinished business, so that brings us to new business. First one is 18-273. Able Entertainment has a television network on board to air their proposed television show about law enforcement in Alaska. The Assembly previously approved Able Entertainment to film our police officers for a few days to create the development pitch video, which the Assembly viewed at the August 6th meeting. Able Entertainment is now requesting permission to move forward with production of the series this fall. I would entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
The motion has been made by Member Strand and seconded by Member Castro. Discussion. Member Strand.
Maybe we could get Chief Kerr to tell us about, or just do you want us to ask questions first?
Really doesn't matter.
Kara, can you hear me, by the way?
I can hear a little bit. This is Kara Stewart, by the way. I'm dialing in something. I'm here if you have any questions.
Yeah, can you guys hear Kara okay?
Absolutely.
Kara, since we're on the radio, I was wondering if you could spend like a couple minutes and maybe just walking through members of the public who might be listening to this, kind of walk them through the process if you could do that, please.
Sure. The process of production coming this fall.
Yeah, and maybe just an overview of what you're planning.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a little taste of working with the officers this past summer. We filmed 2 days with some of the officers, and basically what we're looking to do is do a one-part ride-along, and one part just kind of living in Alaska. We're looking at how lower 48 officers have moved up to Alaska, and then what that transition's like, and what the hurdles are of policing in Alaska. So we did a couple ride-alongs in a few different areas in Alaska, and Petersburg was kind enough to let us do the development period, which we shot a tape. I believe that tape was viewed by the Assembly last week or a couple weeks ago.
Correct.
So what we're looking to do now is, come this fall in October, is film for production about 6 episodes over the course of 6 to 7 weeks. And it would be exactly like we did with the development period, just longer term.
Thank you. Are there any members of the Assembly have questions for Kara? I've got a question for you, Chief Kerr. Thank you, Kara. Chief, what do you and your staff, how do you guys feel about moving forward with this?
The staff is all on board. The officers, I talked with them, and all the officers are on board with doing this. They don't see any issues with it. We actually think it'll be a good thing for our community, is showcasing what our community has to offer. And policing in Alaska is different than anyone, if anyone's ever worked down south, it's definitely different here. In Petersburg, it's a really special place. We get to focus more on the community policing part than we do on a lot of the other stuff. And so I think with having this filming, it'll help us with recruitment. It'll help showcase Petersburg overall and maybe bring in some tourism from that. If they're filming in December, we could be looking at them filming Yule Bucking or even the Christmas parade. That's stuff that you have in Hallmark movies and doesn't really happen outside of there except for Petersburg. And so I think that might help with tourism. Maybe people will start coming here at that time of year just for what our community has to offer. So I think it'll be a great thing for this town.
Thanks, Jim. Just one follow-up to that. The mayor had included this in his report, concerns over liability issues and wondering what control of what's filmed and or aired. I wondered if you could speak to that.
Yes, as far as my understanding is with Ingle Entertainment is we can tell them that we don't want certain things aired or that to cut out certain things. So that's my understanding in the contract.
Do you feel comfortable with it, in other words?
Yes.
Cool, thanks. Member Morrell, please.
I just wanted Kara to verify that was
Kara,
really how it's written and worded.
is that accurate, Kara? The idea of some control Jim and staff have over if something that is pretty sensitive happens that that they can work with you guys on that or take it out if it doesn't work for our community.
I was actually just going to jump to confirm what Jim said. In our development agreement, we had the review information clause in there where it allows for the review of materials in which you guys can tell us kind of why something may or may not work for the department, and then we'll work from there. So there definitely is the review in a notes period that will go to the chief, and then once you guys kind of pass off on it, that's when it would air.
Does that answer your question?
And that's also the way that we work with our other shows, Lone Star Law and Northwood Law, Animal Planet. We work with the government agencies in New Hampshire and Texas, and we do the same review period. And so it's kind of built on trust, and it's built working together to see what we want to do.
Thanks, Kara. That answers the question. I appreciate it. Any further questions for Kara or for the chief? No. So you want to interject, Mr. Manager? Cool. Just making sure. Any further discussion?
You think I should?
Clerk Thompson, you seem like you've got something to say. Please go ahead.
I just wanted to reiterate that if a motion is made, it would be good, please, because there are some legal parts of the contract that are being discussed will be discussed between Ingle Entertainment's attorney and our attorney, just to say that if you approve it as long as the borough attorney approves it.
Do I need to amend that in the language, or can we say this implies that this is based on the approval of the borough attorney?
That would be perfect.
So we're good like that?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, the clerk call the roll.
Do we have a motion?
Oh, we'd like to make the motion that way.
Yes.
Got it.
We need a motion first.
I thought I moved that.
So do we
Did you move it?
Yeah.
If you did, wait. You did, Nancy and Eric. I apologize. It's right here. I even wrote it down.
So do we do a formal amendment to put that language in?
Attorney approval version?
Let's do it properly.
Let's do it.
I would entertain an amendment to include the language pending approval of the borough attorney. Does that suffice, Clerk Thompson?
Yes.
I'll add it, so move.
Second.
Amendment has been made by Member Strand and seconded by Member Morrell. So I guess...
Thank you.
Do we vote on the amendment first?
Correct.
Any discussion? Cool. Will clerk call the roll on the amendment?
Eric.
Yes.
Nancy.
Yes.
Brandy.
Yes.
Jay.
Yes. And now, back to the main motion as amended.
Yes.
Any further discussion on that? In that case, will the clerk call the roll for the motion as amended?
Nancy.
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Jay.
Yes.
Brandy.
Yes.
Thank you.
And it passes unanimously. Thank you so much, Kara, for your time this evening.
Thank you so much for having me. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Cool. All right. That brings us on to 18-274, Ocean Beauty Facility Closure. Ocean Beauty notified the borough of their decision to permanently close its Petersburg facility earlier this month. A draft proposal to draft response to Ocean Beauty is attached for assembly input and/or approval. I would entertain a motion to approve the draft letter.
So moved.
Second.
The motion was made by Member Castro and seconded by Member Strand. Discussion. Member Strand.
The thing I like the most is I like being kept informed about what they're doing, if it gets sold. I would like to hear about it officially and not just from rumor control. So I like that part of the letter.
Thank you, Member Strand. Any further discussion? Member Morrell.
Well, I do like that part. I don't really like that we go into kind of trying to make them feel like they've done a disservice to us. It's not really our job to, make them, I don't like that part of it, in the first paragraph. And so with that wording, I don't think I'll be voting for it.
Thank you, Member Morrell. Let me pull up this letter. Bear with me. Any further discussion as I'm pulling this up?
Sure.
Member Castro, please go ahead.
Yeah, I feel that it is kind of unwelcome news to the community that this has occurred. So I think that it would be a good way to be able to offset that by adding language thanking them for their period of time that they've spent here and what they've contributed to the community, kind of what the mayor had mentioned in his mayor report.
In that case, were you done, Member Castro?
I'm done.
In that case, if you were so inclined, I would entertain a motion to amend it to include some sort of language, thanking Ocean Beauty for their years of service to the community or something to that effect that Clerk Thompson could work up, if you were so inclined.
I would. Yeah, because it is. It's kind of a drag that we're losing such a large corporation or large business downtown. But yeah, so I think it's. But it's good to be able to kind of give them, props for having held a business here in town for so long. So I think it'd be a good way to kind of give them something, and then kind of say something from.
Yeah, just acknowledge the years of having been a very strong community presence. Mm-hmm. So if anyone wants to do it, it would need to be done in form of an amendment. Correct, Clerk Thompson?
Sure.
Could you just make the motion?
Sure. I make a motion to be able to amend this draft letter to Ocean Beauty Seafoods to include something along the lines of thanking them for their period of time that they've spent here in the community and for the service they've contributed to the town.
Is there a second?
Second.
So the amendment to include that language being made by Member Castro, seconded by Member Strand. Clerk Thompson, does that give you enough direction if this passes to craft something?
Oh, yes.
Got it.
Do you want to remove that one sentence that start, "It was unfortunate"? Do you want to remove that whole sentence there?
How would that work for you, Member
Yes,
Paul?
I would rather have
Or
that.
the next two sentences, I should say.
Yeah, I'd rather have that removed. Keeping the unwelcome part, that's totally fine. It wasn't great news, but the last two sentences, I think, are unnecessary.
That is starting with "it was unfortunate," and then the other one with some of the lowest utility, those two?
Yes.
Do you have to be part of the same motion, or with?
I think it can be part of the same motion, and then we'll just replace that wording with wording thanking them for their years of service.
Are you comfortable with that, Member Castro and Member Strand? And that works for you in terms of a solution?
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion on the amendment? In that case, will the clerk call the roll on the amended language, deleting those two sentences at the end of that first paragraph and adding a thanks for their time in the community?
Eric?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Brandy?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Thank you.
The amendment passes unanimously. Now, on the amended motion as a whole, any further discussion? Will clerk call the roll on the motion as amended?
Brandy?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
And it passes unanimously. All right. That moves us on to 18-275, Southeast Conference Annual Meeting. At the August 6th meeting, Assemblymember Miucci was nominated by the Assembly to be on the ballot for a seat on the Southeast Conference Board. Board members will be chosen by the Southeast Conference representatives at the annual meeting in Ketchikan, September 12th through the 14th of 2018. In the Assembly travel and training budget for FY19, the Assembly approved one member to travel to the conference. Mayor Jensen is the Borough Southeast Conference representative and will be traveling to the annual meeting. Member Miucci requests to travel to Southeast Conference as well to be present for the vote and be able to meet the representatives from the other communities that will be voting to fill the board seat. The additional cost of travel would be approximately $1,500. I would entertain a motion to approve Member Miucci traveling to Southeast Conference.
So moved.
I'll second that.
The motion has been made by Member Strand and seconded by Member Castro. Discussion. Member Morrell.
Well, I'm kind of bummed out that Member Miucci can't answer this for me, but he has multiple times been against assembly travel and suggested Skyping and different things. And so to me, it seems like now that there's a personal interest, it's his viewpoints on traveling have changed, and that, to me, is bothersome.
Thank you, Member Morrell. Anyone else? Member Castro.
Well, I feel that, being as that we nominated him as the Assembly, nominated Member Mucci to attend, that he probably should be there at the Southeast Conference. You know, and I would like to maybe ask the manager about the travel budget and how this would fit in.
Through the mayor.
Of course, Mr. Manager, go ahead.
One of the things we got, I was checking with the clerk. I think there's one, this is not currently budgeted. We do have a trip scheduled where I was going to go to AML this year. I haven't been in a couple of years, trying to keep the costs down. We did schedule one trip for me. We could reallocate those funds to the Assembly, and and I don't have the numbers in front of me, so that would be one way to at least balance it out. I think that's just the Assembly there.
Gotcha.
That doesn't include the admin travel budget. So that's one way to do it, is just rebalance it from that perspective. Does not address Member Merle's issue, but from a money standpoint, we can probably make it work out.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah, to answer your question, Member Castro. Further discussion? I guess I'll weigh in on this one. I've wrestled with this one a little bit. Ordinarily, I'd be inclined to vote no on it, because with Mayor Jensen as a voting member, I would be able to trust that he'd represent the borough's interest and lobby and work hard with the other members to get Member Michi appointed to the Board of Directors. Board of Directors is a great place for us to keep a strong presence at Southeast Conference. That said, this is a different situation. Mayor Jensen has said that he won't vote for Member Michi on the Board of Directors. And that I'm not used to a situation like that. So, consequently, I think it would be important for Member Michi to go there and advocate for himself and for Petersburg. I think it's very important for all of the flaws that Southeast Conference has for us to have proper representation on its Board of Directors. And I would rather Jeff didn't go, but I think it's important for us to lobby for our own representation on that Board of Directors. And if that means we have to pull money from somewhere else to do it, I think, again, for all of Southeast Conference flaws, I'd rather be working from the inside out to try to help make that system better. So that's my logic of why I'm voting for it tonight. Any further discussion? Member Strand.
I'll be voting for, and for the very same reasons that Jay more articulately has explained.
Any further discussion? Okay, clerk, call the roll.
Randy?
No.
Eric?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Thank you.
And it fails 3-1 with Member Morrell voting against. That brings us down to communications. And I see none, unless I've missed some along the way. That brings us down to assembly discussion items. Recognitions. Member Castro.
Sure. I'd like to recognize the members of the Petersburg Marine Mammal Center for the summer camp that they put on for the middle school kids. I thought that was a great event, and they brought in a lot of folks from various natural resource fields, and in order to be able to kind of make their education more robust during the summertime when they would otherwise be relaxing. So it was nice to be able to take part in that, and I would like to recognize their efforts.
Thanks, Member Castro. Any other recognitions? I think I will give one. It is a reminder that tomorrow is a primary day in Alaska, which means we're going into the voting season. I know voter turnout is generally significantly lower for the primaries, but I I encourage everyone to get out and vote, because the reality is, if you do not vote, you're not allowed to complain or celebrate. It is like buying your ticket to complain or celebrate at the end of elections. So the voting season's firing up. Please be involved, and you get a really nice sticker on top of it all too, so please do. Any other recognitions? Seeing none. Let's move it on to the recycling topic. I just wanted to put it on there as a discussion topic in case members of the public wanted to come here and talk about it, or if the borough had any, the assembly had any further discussion. Anyone want to add to that topic on this very evening?
I've been hearing from some of my constituency that they support continued recycling, even if it might cost a little more. Getting that recyclable stuff out of the waste stream is important to people.
Excellent. And I hope people continue to stop us on the street, call or email us with their thoughts on that. It'll be an ongoing discussion. Nothing needs to be done knee-jerk at this point, so please keep us in the loop. One thing I stumbled across in that conversation was I was at the hardware store, and a member of the community had asked me to go to the grocery store and pick up one of the green bags, so it ties into the bag conversation also, that are recyclable. And he's like, read the bag, and it talks about its carbon footprint and really what impact those bags have on the community compared to paper, cardboard, etc. So I encourage anyone, if you're at the grocery store and get one of those green bags, read it. And I was going to bring one tonight, but it slipped my mind, so I could read it here. And what did for me was, instead of making it simpler and more of a rabbit hole where I started digging deeper and deeper. So I encourage anybody, if you're having a hard time falling asleep or up early and don't know what to do, research plastic bags and recycled bags, and go down some of those rabbit holes and see where you come out. It's pretty intriguing information.
Sure.
Yes, Member Castro.
Sure. Yeah, and that's kind of the same consensus, it seems, that I've heard from folks that I've heard from, is that it seems that $3,300 annually is a pretty fair cost for providing a cleaner community for future generations. And that's, what is it, $11 a ton, I feel, to be able to recycle. That seems really negligible on the whole scale of things. But that's just kind of my opinion on the matter. I try to recycle. I know folks don't, but I think that anything we can do to try to contribute to this earth is a benefit.
Right on. Thanks, Member Castro. Anything else for the recognitions? Or, excuse me, anything else on the recycling topic? My bad. In that case, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.